Our closest ally in the Middle East, currently under a relentless assault from a terrorist organization dedicated to wiping them off the map, an organization funded by Iran that hides amongst the Palestinian people, using them effectively as shields. You have to take a pretty long trip away from reality to be angry at Israel in this fight. Thousands of rockets have been fired by Hamas. The terror group wants nothing more than to kill innocent Israelis. In response, Israel warns the Palestinians to evacuate buildings before they drop them in retaliation. It's pretty easy to figure out which side of this thing you should be on, which side you should be rooting for. The conflict, though, now appears to be widening, as Israeli Defense Forces tweeted this afternoon. Take a look. 6 rockets were just fired from Lebanon toward northern Israel, all of which fell inside Lebanon. In response, our artillery forces fired toward the sources of the launches. No other country in the world has to work so hard to justify its existence. Sadly, the President of the United States is playing this crisis effectively right down the middle, which frankly abandons Israel while under attack by a terror group that is elected by the Palestinian people. Biden should rally our allies to defend Israel and put more pressure on Hamas to end this nonsense. Let's just say the change in leadership has been noticeable. Here is Biden's message from last night commemorating the end of the Muslim holiday Ramadan.
We also believe Palestinians and Israelis equally deserve to live in safety and security and enjoy equal measure of freedom, prosperity, and democracy.
Trying to play both sides right down the middle. Biden again worried about the far left, doesn't want to anger the mob. Here's the press secretary today.
Our calculation at this point is that having those conversations behind the scenes, weighing in with our important strategic partnership we have with Israel, also with other countries in the region, is the most constructive approach we can take. So our approach is through quiet, intensive diplomacy, and that's where we feel we can be most effective.
Very weak-handed, but sadly it's not hard to see why. The left views the Palestinians as victims of society, and Israelis are the evil, rich, basically white colonizers that the left loves to hate anyways. That's how the left excuses Hamas's aggression. They can use identity politics and race to excuse just about anything. We've seen that in this country. Israel is being bombed, and people are mad because their retaliation is too harsh. The President of the United States is essentially telling his own administration to basically stay quiet on this terrorism. You're seeing it happen. They don't really want to get too involved in this. They don't like this situation. They don't know what to do. Today, in a call with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Biden expressed support for a ceasefire. Offering anything other than unequivocal support of our Israeli friends simply bolsters Hamas. For years, Hamas has set up shop near schools and churches. It's a tactic. Hide behind vulnerable communities that would make terrible publicity for your enemy to return fire on. They use human shields. This is how they operate. And the people there still vote for them. And yet, when the IDF toppled a high-rise, you just saw there, that Israel claims was a shared space between media organizations like the Associated Press and also Hamas, a building which, of course, was evacuated prior, completely emptied out, the left predictably fell for it. Here's the Secretary of State.
The broader point, though, remains, and this is really critical. Israel has a special responsibility to protect civilians in the course of its self-defense, and that most certainly includes journalists.
The White House would really just appreciate it if Israel could stop being so dramatic. You're just being bombed. It's just a few hundred missiles a day. Just relax. No need to fight back. At some point, Hamas is going to run out of bombs, or maybe not, if America starts pumping money into Iran again. Here's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu amidst criticism over Israel's response to being attacked by terrorists.
You see these high-rise towers that are used by Hamas over and over again. They collapse and no one is killed. Why does that happen? Because we, unlike Hamas, take special precautions to tell people, leave the building, leave the premises. We make sure that everyone is gone before we bring down those terrorist facilities.
Well said. Nobody wants to see civilians killed, but the anger here is completely misplaced. A terror group attacks Israel, then uses civilians as a human shield, and the left is mad at Israel? It's lunacy. Here's Senator Bernie Sanders, a Jewish man, writing in the Washington Post. Further, we have seen Benjamin Netanyahu's government work to marginalize and demonize Palestinian citizens of Israel, pursue settlement policies designed to foreclose the possibility of a two-state solution, and pass laws that entrench systemic inequality between Jewish and Palestinian citizens of Israel. You see how they get systemic in there, and they got all their little catchphrases right now. Again, it's oppressor and oppressed. They see everything through this lens, and through that lens, they can justify any response. You're seeing that now. Now the members of the far-left squad, AOC, tweeting out, apartheid states aren't democracies. Of course, talking about Israel. Very catchy. It'll retweet well. And of course, Cori Bush, Rashida Tlaib followed the leader, and they retweeted as well. To be fair, nobody is arguing there isn't a problem in this region. That is obvious. This is an impossible problem. You have people of different faiths who both believe this area is holy to them. Years of tension and fighting mean these people now hate each other. And the truth is the Palestinians are second-class citizens in Israel. But in a way, it's easy to see why. The Palestinians actually elect Hamas to power. They vote for a terror group. They vote in large numbers for a terror group. A terror group in that region, they don't have a country, is more powerful than any other faction to the Palestinians. Can you imagine that? They elect this. They vote for this. Imagine if Israel elected a government with a central mission to murder Palestinians. It's a terror group. So if the Palestinians had the upper hand in this situation, you'd likely have another Holocaust. If they had the wealth and the capabilities that Israel has in this situation, imagine what this would look like. So when you look at it from that perspective, all things considered, Israel's behavior is quite tempered. They give warnings before they drop a building, before they retaliate. And yet they still get grief from people like Bernie Sanders. And it sure has conjured up a lot of hate. And that hate is easy to find. CNN recently severed ties with a freelancer for this very charming tweet. Adil Raja tweeted, "The world today needs a Hitler." He fired that off yesterday. Yeah. That's not the first time he's tweeted in support of Hitler either. Just the first time CNN noticed they employed somebody who wanted to kill an entire population of people. We've been here before between Israel, Hamas, and the Palestinians, but there are those who say that this time it does feel a little bit different.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.